Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I should say good morning because it is past midnight. So this is June 18th, and the time right now is 12:18 a.m. And it's great to be here in front of you, and hopefully more of our friends will be joining us. I know it's quite early in the morning, but I do know that a lot of our friends from different time zones actually tune in uh, around this hour. So I'm not going to be surprised if our friends are tuning in. So I see Frank is here. Hello, Frank. Ken is here. Hello, Ken. That's Ken from Appleton. That's Frank from uh, Florida. Kay Cooper is here. Hello, Kay. Kay Cooper is here from Texas. Bill is here from Vegas, as the name says. Uh, Bill, good to see you. Claudia is here. Hello, Claudia. It's nice to see you. And my friends, you know what to do. Make sure you like this video so that we can reach more people. We have been trying to spread our message of freedom. That's really what it is about. At the end of the day, we want more freedom, we want more prosperity, we want safety and security. We want a better environment overall, political environment. We want a society that enjoys success and prosperity. So that's why we have these discussions. That's why we talk about the social and political issues, domestic and international. We want peace. Um, so, my friends, um, I'm doing this right after midnight. The reason being, um, I was tied up with lots of other things, and I just didn't find the time to do this live stream earlier. So here I am, but I'm glad that you're tuning in. Okay, so as you can see, the title of the live stream today, it is An Urgent Need, a Long-Term Plan, and Political Barriers. And I'm going to be explaining to you what I mean by an urgent need, a long term plan, and political barriers. My friends, each and every day we see unacceptable behavior coming from left wing activists. And their goal, if you are paying attention, which I know you are, the goal of these left wing activists, their goal is quite clear. They want to obstruct. They want to obstruct. Left wing activists have been trying to create all sorts of problems to prevent successful immigration enforcement. And it's just getting more and more serious every day. I mean, I've been tracking the developments. I've been tracking the problems, and I've been tracking the issues surrounding immigration enforcement, and not only on the national networks, but if you watch the local TV stations in different states, in the age of the internet, it's all very easy. You can watch um, news clips from local news stations in Texas, in North Carolina, in Utah, in Washington State. I mean, everywhere, right? You just go on YouTube, look up the news, not just the articles, but you can see the videos. And in addition to watching some of the national networks, I have been watching the video clips from the various local stations around the country, because they broadcast news about ICE enforcement and what the local activist groups are doing, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, there's a lot of information out there, and I try my best to keep up. Okay, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So I understand that it's just an overload of information, and you can't possibly keep up with everything. Yeah, it's just not humanly possible. But I try my best as much as I can. And what I understand is that the situation is getting more and more serious every day. We have seen rioters on the streets of Los Angeles and elsewhere, not just Los Angeles, but elsewhere. We have seen rioters. There was a very serious incident in Oregon when rioters broke into an ICE facility. I think I mentioned that previously on this channel. Portland, Oregon. I think it was in Portland, right? Yeah, it was Portland. We talked about it, right? Um, Portland, ICE. Yeah, it was in Portland. And there were arrests made. Okay. Um, so we saw that. We saw LA. We saw the news coming from Portland. And now, I don't know if you saw this. This is like breaking news from technically yesterday, because we are into June 18th now. So this is from June 17th, just a few hours ago. The news is that a mayoral candidate in New York City was arrested by Homeland Security agents after allegedly this mayoral candidate allegedly assaulted a federal officer. Okay? A mayoral candidate allegedly assaulted a federal officer. I'll let you process that information for a few seconds, all right? For maybe half a minute. Process that. A mayoral candidate in a major city like New York, according to reports, allegedly assaulted a federal officer. Okay. And DHS said, Department of Homeland Security said, no one is above the law. And if you lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you will face consequences. Think about that. I mean, how heated the political environment is. How heated. And as I told you towards the start of this live stream, obstruction, that's what we are seeing coming from the left. They are trying to obstruct, they are trying to prevent ICE from doing its job. And it's not good for the country. Cheryl Thomas is here. Cheryl, so good to see you. Cheryl, it's been a while, right? A few months, I think, since we've seen you. Or maybe you've been here and I just missed. I don't know. Oh, Cheryl is saying, long time since I've caught your live. Well, thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. My friends, make sure you're liking the video, all right? Share the video also. If you want to share, that'd be great. By the way, y- you're probably wondering, like, I'm in a different area. It's a different part of my apartment. So I'm not in my room, okay, where my desk is. Um, so I'm in the dining area actually. I decided to set up my little studio here. So what I did was right before starting the live stream, I brought my microphone over and I got the other equipment here. Temporarily, I'm gonna put it all back in my room once I complete this live stream. Just wanted to change location for a little bit. How does it look? Do you like this better? There's more light here. There's a lot of light in front of me. There's light here. There's light behind me. You can see lots of light. Um, Bill is saying, nice looking shirt there, Tassif. Yeah, thank you so much. It's like, yeah, it's a little bit of an island summery feeling, right, with the shirt. Um, so, my friends, let's go back to the discussion. So, DHS said, Department of Homeland Security said very, very clearly, no one is above the law. And if you lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you will face consequences. I think this is something that we can all agree with, right? I mean, we can. Yes, no one is above the law. This is the United States of America. No one is above the law. So, my friends, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, also said that New York City comptroller was arrested for assaulting law enforcement and impeding a federal officer. So this individual, who is a mayoral candidate in New York City, is the New York City comptroller. All right, so this individual um, is the New York City comptroller, but he's also running for mayor. And this is the individual who was arrested, according to reports, for allegedly assaulting a federal officer. And then, by the way, this individual was released. For those who are wondering, he was released, but he was arrested too. Now, if you go online, you are going to see the video of this incident, the heated exchange between this mayoral candidate and federal agents. Um, some things you just have to see the video, all right? You're just gonna have to see the video, all right? I cannot possibly. I mean, yes, I can describe the things I saw on video, but I think it's best that you see it for yourself. You don't have to do it right now. You're here. Stay here with us, but you can check out the video um, right after this live stream. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The things that are happening, the things that we see. Um, this is a mayoral candidate and also a New York City official, and now this is getting national attention. This was all over the news. All over the news. I mean, this is national news. I mean, it happened in New York, but everyone's talking about it. The people on the left are talking about it. The people on the right are talking about it. And it's getting national attention. Now, my friends, I want peace in the United States. And I think you all can agree with me. We want peace. We want law and order. I mean, it's a very simple ask. It's a very simple ask. As Americans, we have our individual lives, we have our personal ambitions, you know, and our dreams, our desires, our ambitions can change with time. All right. When we're young, when we're teenagers or young adults, we have lots of dreams and ambitions. And then over the course of a person's lifetime, the dreams may change, the priorities may change. Some dreams become reality, some don't. And so, we make changes, we adjust according to reality, circumstances, right? So we all have our individual dreams and desires and ambitions and goals and so on and so forth. But then, as a country, we have some collective desires. Okay. Collectively, we want certain things in society. And I think we can all agree when I say that we want peace in the United States. Wherever you are, if you are a rational human being, if you believe in logic, if you believe in reason, if you understand the difference between good and bad, if you understand the difference between right and wrong, you will agree with me that we all want peace in the United States and around the world, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, yes, our priority is the United States, but we want peace around the world because we live in a connected world. So whenever there's peace around the world, we all benefit as mankind. If there's conflict, if there's war, if there's clashes, political unrest in some other part of the world, it somehow will affect us, whether it's through the global economy, and whether it's through, um, you know, um, just our trade connections. Like, I mean, just look at Ukraine, Russia. Okay, far, far away from us. Russia is far away, Ukraine's far away. But when that war broke out, it did impact us. Okay, global supply chain was impacted, trade was impacted. And I'm not even talking about the other things that are going on. I'm just talking about like Ukraine, Russia. When that war broke out, it affects the stock markets in different countries. Um, there's just a sense of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear, unknown fear, like what's going to happen. Um, Supply chain gets affected, trade gets affected. And, because we live in a connected world, it also resulted in very heated political discussion in the US because some people were saying, oh, we're going to have to, spend taxpayer dollars to help Ukraine, and others were saying, no, we're not gonna do that. Let Russia and Ukraine sort out their own differences. Let them figure out their own, you know, uh, y- uh, what they're going to do going forward, um, and we're not going to spend taxpayer dollars on that issue. So there were different viewpoints, and so that resulted in heated discussion in Washington and among people in general. And so, that's how, if there's unrest in some other part of the world, it affects us, okay, in some way, shape, or form. But going back to the topic, we all can agree that we want peace. We want peace in the United States. We want peace around the world. And coming back to the topic of immigration enforcement, we all want, if you believe in logic and reason, if you prioritize public safety, if you want peace and harmony in society. I think we all want ICE to be able to do their work smoothly without any impediment, without any barrier, without any obstruction. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, we all want ICE to be able to do their work. I mean, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me, my friends? Let me know. I see Ryan is here. Hello, Ryan. I see our friend Sherry is here. Sherry from Racine. Good to see you, Sherry. Freshly is here. That's our friend Jake from New York. Jake, good to see you. Dilly is here. Hello, Dilly. Brad is here. Hello, Brad. Good to see you. My friends, as you are tuning in, please make sure that you're liking this video. We want to reach more people. Okay. When you like this video, it helps the algorithm. It helps the video reach more people. Maybe it shows up in, you know, shows up on the news feed of a larger number of people. I think that's what happens. So make sure you like this video. All right. Paul is here. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. Angel is here. Hello, Angel. Shannon is here. Hello, Shannon. Shannon Williams. All right. Dan Decker. Dan is here. Hello, Dan. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Did I miss greeting anyone? If I did, I apologize. We're going to move forward. So logic and reason, when logic and reason prevails, when logic and reason prevail, we want ICE to be able to do their work smoothly, without any barrier, without any obstruction, without any disturbance. Now, sadly, my friends, let me tell you, each and every day, the federal agents are facing barriers. You know, we've seen those images, the screaming rioters, all the people rioting. You saw that in LA, right? Los Angeles? Anyone? By the way, do we have anyone from Los Angeles here? Anyone from Los Angeles? I know our friend Swaggy is from Los Angeles. I don't know if Swaggy is here. Anyone from LA? We got friends from Florida, Texas, North Carolina, right? We got North Carolina, right? We got New York. We got Nevada, all right, Las Vegas. Okay, RL is from Riverside County, California. All right. Okay, well, thank you. Dilly is from Seattle. Ryan is from Nevada. All right. Do we have North Carolina or South Carolina? Do we have North Carolina? I think we have North Carolina. Give me 1 second. All right. Dan is from Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee. What an awesome state. It's been many years since I've been to Tennessee. Yeah, Nashville. Nashville is awesome. Yeah, we got Claudia is from North Carolina, so we got North Carolina here. Anyway, so as I was saying, there are the screaming rioters. Okay. Angry left-wing activists. The left-wing activists, so angry, the rioters out there causing chaos, or someone or some group trying to stop ICE from doing its job. It is very, very sad, very, very unfortunate. We see that happening each and every day somewhere. ICE is just trying to do, the ICE agents are trying to do their job. They have been given assignments, they've been given tasks. They are out there and they are doing public service. Understand this, my friends. ICE is doing public service. And we want ICE to be successful. ICE, meaning Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We want ICE to be successful. We want them to efficiently, you know, do the things that they have to do, arrest the criminal aliens, take action, make sure communities are safe, because each and every criminal alien who gets arrested, the community just becomes safer and safer and safer. Very, very simple. All right. Each and every day, we see the federal agents facing barriers. Okay. Barriers after barriers after barriers. And my friends, the left wing activists, they know that there's a lot of time and energy and money that is spent to catch the criminal aliens. So every time ICE agents are going out, every time ICE agents are making arrests, every time ICE is, catching a criminal, time is being spent, resources, financial resources are being spent, energy is being spent, um, which is why the left wing activists are using all kinds of tactics to slow down progress. To slow down progress. Plain and simple, they are just trying to create the left wing activists, the people on the left, those screaming rioters. They're trying to slow down the work of ICE. The entire strategy of the left is to obstruct, is to slow down the efforts of the Trump administration in every possible way. That's what the left is doing. And we see that in the area of immigration enforcement, because ICE is trying to make an arrest, and then left wing, rioters and agitators, they come and they create chaos. They try to prevent the arrest. They harass the ICE agents. We've seen that. Los Angeles being the most recent and perhaps the biggest example. But it's not just in immigration enforcement. The left is using whatever strategy they can come up with to slow down the Trump administration, to slow down the work of the Trump administration, to challenge the actions of the Trump administration. And I mean, just think about it. When President Trump tries to boost drilling, because he proudly says, President Trump does, he proudly says, drill, baby, drill. He believes in the power of fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, and President Trump wants drill, baby, drill. And what does the left do? What does the left do? The left wing climate activists, they come filing lawsuits to try to stop the Trump administration. So whatever President Trump tries to do, the left comes up with a plan to slow down progress. Either they go to court, they file a lawsuit, or they go out on the streets and create chaos. I mean, there are all these different strategies. And constantly, on social media, and not just social media, but also mainstream media, we see these left-wing commentators, and some of them they they try to they're supposed to be objective, they're supposed to be impartial, but we see that the things that they say, there's always that spin that they use to try to twist something and make it go against President Trump. So they've got their own narrative, they've got their own like arguments that these political pundits and these political commentators they use to paint President Trump's efforts in a negative way. Okay. So whatever President Trump and his administration and the Republicans in general, okay, it's not just President Trump, it's not just his administration, but Republicans in Washington, they've got a lot of great ideas. But whenever they try to come up with an idea to solve a problem, we'll see the left spread lies, spread propaganda, engage in fear mongering, present the Republicans' efforts very negatively, and they try to stop it. So if President Trump says drill baby drill, and if he takes action to boost drilling, the left will file lawsuits and just try to stop that. So by the way, Misty is here. Hello, Misty. Good to see you. Our friend Misty just joined, and Evelyn is here. Evelyn from Vegas. So Vegas is always well represented on this channel because we got two great friends of this channel. We got Bill, we got Evelyn from Vegas, right? From the same city. So it's always nice to see Evelyn tune in and Bill tune in. And yeah. Did I say I love Tennessee? I said I love Tennessee, right? Just a few minutes ago, I said, "Oh, Tennessee is great. Tennessee is great." But I got to tell you one more thing. I love Nevada. I love Vegas. All right. So yeah, I said Tennessee is great. Nevada is great too. All right. Thank you, Evelyn. Bailey is here. Hello, Bailey. All right. So, as I was saying, this is something that the Trump administration understands. The Trump administration, they understand what the left is trying to do. I think everyone understands what the left is trying to do. And my friends, the Trump administration is trying to increase the number of arrests that ICE makes, that federal agents make every day. Because if you think about it, I mean, we are already almost 5 months into this administration. 5 months, that's like almost half a year. And we got 4 years in a presidential term. 4 years in a presidential term, almost half a year is gone, 5 months, close to 5 months. Soon it'll be 6 months. So time is of the essence. And if the ICE agents are able to arrest thousands of people, I think the goal that I saw was like 3,000 or something. Thousands of people every day, multiply that by 30. I mean, some months have 31 days, but just let's assume 30 days. Multiply that by 30, and you'll get the target number of arrests for the month. And then multiply it by, however many months you want to see. I mean, you can do a math. If there are 3,000 arrests every day, 365 days a year, multiply that by the number of years. I mean, do the math. And it's not all going to be 3,000s. I mean, it might be less than 3,000, might be more than 3,000, but 3,000 is, it's not an easy number to achieve. It's not an easy, I mean, it's not like that ICE is just going and picking people up. I mean, each arrest is a process, because when the agents are going to make, first they have to gather information, they have to have intel, right? And, you know, intel on the person, where that person is, so on and so forth. And then when they go to make the arrest, it's a process. It's not like, okay, one ICE agent going making an arrest. No, it's a teamwork. You have to have the personnel, you have to have the vehicles, you have to have you know, the overall, the resources. Plus, it's a lot of, it's stressful. It's not easy. It's not, it's very, very stressful. You have to look at the process from the eyes of an ICE officer. It's a process. And then you never know what's going to go wrong, because some of the people, a lot of the people being arrested, they're criminals. As President Trump said, the worst first. So a lot of these people who are being arrested by ICE, they're criminals. A lot of them convicted previously, a lot of them charged with crimes, a lot of them have a long history of criminal activity. So it's not easy. It's not like you're just going and picking people up. It's a 5-minute job. It's not. So all the resource, all the energy, all the effort that goes into a single arrest, think about what it would take to reach that 3,000 number, to make sure that there are 3,000 arrests a day. Not easy. You got to think deeply, okay? And given all the challenges associated with the, you know, the job that they do, these ICE agents, on top of everything, think about the protests that they run into. Think about the demonstrations that they see, the anti-ICE demonstrations, the anti-ICE protests. And when things turn into riots, it's just extremely difficult. So I know you all understand how difficult it is to do a single arrest, because you go into a situation, these federal agents, when they're moving forward to make an arrest, they don't know what kind of a situation they are walking into. Of course, they gather intel, they have their own techniques, I'm sure. You know, they're federal agents. But there's always an unknown factor. There's always, even like, you know, with any law enforcement encounter, there's that unknown factor, especially when you're looking for criminals. So, you know, criminals with long history of crimes, not like petty theft. All right. Yes, there are illegal immigrants who have committed maybe smaller crimes, property crimes. Maybe they've stolen something from the shelf of a store or whatever. But a lot of these criminal aliens, they have serious crimes on their record. Serious crimes. Okay. Crimes that people might end up in prison for years and years. Okay. You know, homicide, you know, heist, and, you know, bodily harm, causing bodily harm to innocent individuals. I mean, all you have to do is look at the information that ICE posts. They post a lot of information on their social media pages and on their website. Um, just letting people know that they are catching drug dealers, they are catching gang members, they are catching sex offenders, they are catching all kinds of, criminals. So, given all the challenges associated with making arrests and just in general immigration enforcement, when they run into demonstrators, when they run into rioters, it just makes the job exponentially difficult. Very, very difficult. An already difficult job now becomes extremely difficult when the left wing activists and agitators and rioters are out there trying to stop ICE from doing their work. So, my friends, given all the challenges, this Trump administration understands the urgent need to catch the criminals and to deport them, the criminal aliens. That's why I said, the title of this live stream is An Urgent Need. There's an urgent need. You have to reach those daily goals. If 3,000 is what the administration thinks the right number is, like 3,000 arrests every day, well, all right, that's the target every day, 3,000 arrests. There's an urgent need to meet that number every day, and it's not easy. And then I said, in the title of this live stream, I wrote an urgent need, a long-term plan, and political barriers. I think I've already talked about the political barriers, right? The left-wing activists, the demonstrators, the rioters, they're out there trying to stop ICE from doing their work. Okay? It's coming from the political left. The resistance is coming from the political left. The people on the right, the conservatives, we are happy that law and order is being restored. We are happy about it. We are happy that immigration laws are being enforced. We are happy that the Trump administration is taking action. We're happy that those who broke our nation's laws, including immigration laws, they're finally facing the legal consequences. So we're happy. And people in general, people who do not identify with any political party, people who feel like they are neither Republicans nor Democrats, they are just general people, hardworking people, and they want sensible policy making. They want safety. They want security. They want peace. They want a climate in which they and their families can thrive, an economic climate. They want safe neighborhoods. So those individuals, neither Republicans nor Democrats, okay, they're just like, they're not thinking about politics all the time. They just want safe communities. Those individuals, they are happy when they see that ICE is catching the illegals, the criminals, and those criminals are being deported. The average American is happy. Okay, so the left doing whatever they can to slow down the Trump administration. Now, I want to bring to your attention something that Shawn Duffy wrote on X. And who's Shawn Duffy? Shawn Duffy is the transportation secretary. Okay. Shawn Duffy used to be a congressman from Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is where I am. I have met Shawn Duffy. Um, truly a wonderful congressman he was, and now he's the transportation secretary. Well-deserved position, and I think I've mentioned this before. Um, a great selection by President Trump. Okay, we're very proud of Shawn Duffy here in Wisconsin for his public service, for his time spent in Congress, and a very smart man, very intelligent, speaks very well on camera, just a great communicator. And here in Wisconsin, we were very happy when Shawn Duffy was selected to be the transportation secretary, and obviously he was confirmed by the Senate. So um, anyway, he's doing a great job. So Shawn Duffy wrote on X, he wrote, the U.S. Department of Transportation will not fund rogue state actors who refuse to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, and to cities that stand by while rioters destroy transportation infrastructure, don't expect a red cent from DOT either. Follow the law or forfeit the funding. Great message, loud and clear. Okay, so the blue states got this message. If a state, if the leaders of a state, if they see that there's a riot taking place, there are riots taking place in their cities, and those elected officials do nothing to address that problem, and as a result there's damage caused to transportation infrastructure, roads are damaged, or a train is damaged, or whatever transportation infrastructure, bridges are damaged. If there are bridges and roads and other transportation infrastructure damaged as a result of riots, anti-ICE riots, anti-federal immigration enforcement riots by left-wing agitators, then the Department of Transportation at the federal level is not going to provide any funding to repair that damage. Okay? And it's a great message. If, let's say, a governor is seeing that there are riots going on in the state, and the rioters are going out there and damaging transportation infrastructure. If the governor does not take action, if the governor just sits and watches, all right, the rioters are destroying stuff, just sit and watch, and then there's damage to transportation infrastructure, and then the governor comes to the federal government and says, oh, we had all this damage, we now need money, we got to fix the bridge, we got to repair the roads, we have to fix the damage uh, to the transportation infrastructure, so federal government, give us some money. Secretary Shawn Duffy is saying, no. If you allow lawlessness in your city, in your state, if you let these rioters, these left-wing agitators, cause damage to transportation infrastructure, if you don't take action, if you don't take the right steps to stop those riots, to stop the damage, and then you go to federal government asking for money, oh, we got to fix this, see what happened in LA, we got to fix it. Well, guess what? The federal government's not going to provide a red cent. No money from the DOT. Okay? And, the blue states, this is what happens in blue states. I mean, you see the most serious riots taking place in blue states because the red state governors They take action. The red states don't allow lawlessness. Protest is fine if it is peaceful. Peaceful protest is okay, because obviously there's the right to free speech, which is why we're doing these live streams here, because we believe in free speech. I believe in free speech, which is why I turn on the camera and I share my thoughts, and I do it fearlessly, because we believe in free speech. So free speech is fine. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm not happy about that government policy," or "I'm not happy about that legislation that was just introduced," or "I'm not happy about um, you know the government taking certain action," and you want to speak up and you want to oppose that government policy or that legislation or that action, peaceful protest is fine. You can peacefully protest, but lawlessness is not allowed. Damage to infrastructure is not allowed. Damage to personal property of other people, not allowed. Okay? So, we saw in California when the Los Angeles riots started, the local government was failing to address that situation. The state government, Gavin Newsom, being the failed governor that he is, he wasn't doing anything, Gavin Newsom. And so President Trump had to step in. President Trump had to take action. Okay? He had to federalize the National Guard. He had to deploy the soldiers. He had to um, mobilize the Marines. All necessary steps. And President Trump did that. So, blue states, we have seen, if you look at the last few years, there have been, lawlessness, riots in Minneapolis, riots in California, riots in Illinois, riots in New York. Okay. I mean, I remember watching images from Chicago. Um, Not peaceful protest. Okay. I mean, there are many examples. If you just look at let's say the last 5 or 6 years, you'll see many examples. All right. Um, ri- Riots are never okay. Peaceful protest is okay. Peaceful protest is okay. Riots are never okay. So these blue states, they like to be bailed out. The blue states, they don't take action when there's lawlessness, when there's chaos, when the rioters are out there causing damage. They don't take action. The blue states. And then they go to the federal government asking for money, hoping for money. And when there's a Democrat administration in power at the federal level, these blue states think that they'll get whatever money they ask for. They feel entitled. I mean, if you do a thorough analysis of the Biden years, I mean, I'm talking about a real thorough analysis, all right? I mean, just looking deep in the books and looking at all the money that the federal government spent, what state got how much for what, so on and so forth. Okay. If you go, like, it's going to be a very, very deeper dive. If you do that, you're probably going to find how these blue states unfairly benefited from, um, having a Democrat administration in power that just handed out money. Okay. Lack of transparency, lack of accountability, lots of money were handed out by the Biden administration to a lot of blue states. And so the blue states, they feel entitled. Okay. And so whenever there's unrest and riots, these blue state leaders, they don't take action. And, really, Minneapolis is probably a massive example. Remember that police precinct on fire? Remember that? How did that happen? I mean, how does a tense situation get to the point that rioters set a police precinct on fire? How does that even happen? Anyway, anyway, um, I'm going to continue. So, blue states watch silently as chaos and unrest take place. And then, whenever the blue states need money, they just go to a Democrat president. But you know what? Times have changed. Now we have a Republican president. Times have changed. By the way, in the case of personal property damage, let's say there are riots and um, you know uh, some stores got damaged or stores were looted. Those are private entities who face the losses. And if you are a business owner and you have a store and the looters came in and took away your inventory, took away stuff from your store, and you come the next morning and you see, oh, your store has been looted, your products have been stolen. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. And the blue state leaders, they just sit and watch as people face severe losses because of riots and vandalism and looting. Okay? And that's how a lot of businesses go out of business. That's why so many people are leaving blue states, because they don't feel safe anymore. Whether you're living in a blue state, raising a family, whether you're, running a business in a blue state, people don't feel safe. And that's why a lot of people are leaving California. They are going to Texas. They are going to other states that are um, primarily red. So, Gianna is here. Hi, Gianna. Good to see you. I've been talking so much. I forgot to greet a lot of the friends. So Gianna is here. A lot of our friends are here, I think. Sorry, I see a lot of names that I didn't get to mention individually. So thank you all for being here. By the way, Ricardo, you see the name Ricardo. Ricardo doesn't agree with me. Ricardo does not, because I've read Ricardo's comments, not just here, but comments that Ricardo posted on different videos in the past, videos that I've published on my channel. Ricardo doesn't agree with my viewpoints, all right? But Ricardo, let me tell you, Ricardo, like it or not, Donald Trump is your president. If you are an American, I don't know where you live, Ricardo. I'm guessing you live in the US. I'm guessing you are a US citizen. If that's the case, let me tell you, Donald Trump is your president. Like it or not, that's the truth. By the way, everyone, please write, Trump is your president. Write it. Send a message. Send a message to every American who's watching this. Okay? To the conservatives, to the liberals, send a message. Just say, Trump is your president. Donald Trump is your president. Write it. Okay? It's going to be awesome. Oh, Ricardo is from Arizona. All right. We got other friends from Arizona. Our friend AC Cruz. I don't know if AC is watching. AC Cruz is from Arizona. We got Teresa Ross. I haven't seen Teresa today. Teresa is from Arizona. So we got friends from Arizona. We got friends from Arizona. By the way, okay. So give me 1 second. Hold on. All right. Let's see. Oh, Vilma is saying that Vilma's president is Ramaphosa. So Vilma, you're from South Africa then, right? Okay. No, I just said if you are a U.S. citizen, your president is Donald Trump. But if you're from somewhere else, if you're from South Africa, yeah, Mr. Ramaphosa is your president then, right? I mean, obviously that's common sense. Wherever you're from, if you're from outside the U.S., you got a different president or maybe a prime minister. Yeah. Some countries have kings. Um, so yeah, I mean, we got a lot of friends from other countries who tune in for these live streams. I see how Evelyn wrote that. Did you see Evelyn's comment? Just scroll up. You see Evelyn's comment. Evelyn wrote, "Trump is your president, Ricardo." Ricardo. So the message specifically for Ricardo that Trump is your president, right? How do you like that, Ricardo? Ricardo is not a fan of President Trump. I know that from Ricardo's comments. Oh, I love it how Evelyn wrote that. Trump is your president, Ricardo. I love it. Um, Joseph wrote, Trump is your president. Yes, say it to the liberals. Say it to the liberals. Trump is your president. By the way, you can also add a few more things. You want to make it sweeter, the message, you want to make it more sweet. You can write, Trump is your president. The Republicans have the Senate majority. The Republicans have the House majority. Just mention all three, and the liberals are just going to go crazy. Okay? The liberals don't like it. The Republicans have the Senate majority. The Republicans have the House majority. Say it to the liberals and see what they say. See how they react. We got the White House. We got the Senate. We got the House. So awesome. All right. All three. White House, Senate, Congress. All right. Anyway, so as I was saying, people are leaving California. A lot of people left New York too. A lot of people are leaving Illinois as well. Okay. Melissa is here. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you. All right. All right. Okay. So the obstruction continues. The obstruction coming from the left continues. And it is deeply disturbing to see left-wing politicians completely disregarding the rule of law. AC is here. AC, we were just talking about you. Did you hear that, AC? I mentioned that because, we were asking Ricardo, who, by the way, if you're just tuning in, Ricardo doesn't agree with me on a lot of things, on most things, I think. Ricardo doesn't agree with me. He has different viewpoints. So Ricardo is from Arizona because I was asking like where Ricardo is from. And then I mentioned AC, your name, that we got a friend, AC Cruz from Arizona. And then we have Teresa Ross from Arizona. So, yeah. AC is writing, just got off work. All right. Okay. AC, do you work in the healthcare industry? If I remember correctly, you work in the medical field, right? Which is probably why you were working late, maybe. Anyway, I try to remember where everyone's from and whatever information you've shared with me about what you do. If I get it wrong, I apologize. But I think AC works in healthcare, right? Okay. We'll wait for AC's comment. Okay. So the obstruction continues. Oh, okay. So AC says retail. All right. Got it. I apologize. I do my best to try to remember. And if I can't, I really apologize. But, My friends, you all mean so much to me. We are a community, and I, you all are such wonderful friends. You make this community strong. So I do my best to try to remember where everyone's from, and if you've said, where you work or what you do, I try to remember that. But I may forget a few things here and there. Okay. Um, n- Sherry is saying that there's a power loss. A tree just crashed across the street to my drive. Sorry to hear that, Sherry. Did you call the city folks? City of Racine. Are you in the city of Racine, or are you are in the city of Racine, right? Not I mean, I know you are in Racine County, but are you in Racine, or are you in like Union Grove or Burlington or Waterford or somewhere else? Because I know that area so well. I know Racine County. Okay, I haven't been to Racine County in a while, but I've been there a lot. Um, oh, Mr. Big is saying need to sleep. Good night. Oh, I'm well. Have a good night, Mr. Big. Sorry, I probably missed mentioning you. Sherry's in Franksville. I know where that is. I know where that is. Okay. Um. All right. Yeah, I've been through some of those townships near. Okay, near Gifford School. All right. Yeah, I think I've driven by. Um. Is there like a farm market nearby? There's a farm market nearby, right? There's a farm market. We're talking about Wisconsin, southeast Wisconsin. So you're like in Caledonia then, right? You're in the township. Are you in Caledonia? Okay, yeah, I ask a question, then I have to wait for an answer. I understand that. So if you're thinking like, why am I silent all of a sudden? I'm probably waiting for the answer. Okay. Um, yeah, I know where Franksville is. Anyway, let's. By the way, for those who are watching and you're wondering what I'm talking about, what Sherry and I are discussing, we're talking about Racine County. And if you visit Wisconsin, check out Racine County. It's in southeast Wisconsin. It's between Milwaukee and Kenosha. Okay. Milwaukee, big city. Everyone knows where Milwaukee is. Kenosha is also a pretty major area now, has been in the news for many different reasons over the last several years. So Racine is between Kenosha County and Milwaukee County. So um, Racine is beautiful, especially if you go to Racine. Um, you go close to the Lake Michigan shoreline. There are some nice restaurants. There are some really nice places where you can hang out. So check out Racine if you go to if you come to Wisconsin. All right, Sherry, you agree with me, right? Okay, yeah, Caledonia. That's what I thought. Uh, okay, all right. Okay, let's continue then. Mm, let's see. All right. Joseph, are you asking me that question? So I've been to Dallas, Texas. I haven't been further south. I haven't been further. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Dallas, Fort Worth, Grapevine. I've been in that area. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I was gonna go to Galveston Bay area and didn't work out. Changed the schedule. It was during the holidays years ago. The plan was to go all the way south to Galveston, but did not. Drove to Texas, Dallas, Texas, spent a few days, drove back. Um, yeah, that's it. Scott is here. Hello, Scott. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So as I was saying, let me get back to the main discussion now. Um, Let me get back to the main discussion. So the obstruction continues. That's what the left is trying to do. It is very, very disturbing to see left-wing politicians and how they are disregarding the rule of law. Okay. Now let's keep in mind one thing, my friends. ICE was not formed by President Trump. Very important to remember this. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, this agency, it was not formed by President Trump. Do you know when ICE was formed? Does anyone know? Do you know when ICE was formed? I'm asking a question. Let me know if you know the answer. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Do you know when it was formed? Any idea? More than 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago. Yeah. So we are 25 years into the new millennium. It's the new millennium. Do you remember when we went from like year 1999 to the year 2000? It's quite exciting, right? So we are 25 years into the new millennium. ICE was formed more than 20 years ago. So I think it was like 2003. I think it was 2003 when ICE was formed. And, you know, it was formed under the Homeland Security Act. And Congress granted ICE the power and the authority to protect national security and to ensure public safety. And ICE is there to enforce federal laws governing border security, customs, trade, and immigration. So if you go to the website of ICE, you can find a lot more information. Okay, you're going to find history. You can go to ICE's website, official government website, and you can read the history of ICE. Okay, I'm not going to repeat all that here. So you can go and read that if you want. So ICE was formed more than 20 years ago. Okay. Now, do you know how big ICE is? How many personnel? Any idea? I mean, obviously, it's information you can find on the internet, but I'm just asking if you know the answer without looking it up. Do you know how big ICE is? How many personnel? Any idea? Just share a number. All right. I'm giving you 10 seconds. Armani is writing 20,000. Exactly. ICE has more than 20,000 law enforcement and support personnel. Okay. Once again, you can fact check me. You can go and look at the history of ICE. You'll find this information on the website. So Armani, correct answer, 20,000, more than 20,000. More than 20,000 law enforcement personnel and support personnel. And there are more than 400 offices in the US and around the world, ICE offices. So if you want to fact check me, go and look up the information. I looked it up. I was reading about ICE, and I'm not wrong. I'm not afraid of being fact checked. And if I'm ever wrong, you can point it out. And if you can prove I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit it. I mean, we're all human beings. We can be wrong sometimes, and we are all here to learn and to share information and to share knowledge with each other. No one can possibly know everything, but I try to read things before I talk about it. I mean, history of ICE, how many people are there working for ICE, how many offices are there. These are facts, these are numbers that you can look up. Okay. Anyway, the point is, Donald Trump did not create ICE. Okay. ICE was there during George Bush. Okay. President Bush. ICE was there during President Barack Obama. ICE was there during President Trump's first term in office. ICE was there during Joe Biden's term in office. And ICE is here now. So the only difference that you would see between how Joe Biden treated ICE and how President Trump is treating ICE, the difference is President Trump is allowing ICE to do its job. Okay? President Trump is allowing this agency to do its job. President Trump is supporting ICE. President Trump is letting ICE do what it is supposed to do. And honestly, whatever is happening now, this is perhaps the greatest challenge that this agency has faced since it was established. I mean, just over the last 4 years, between 2021 and 2024, millions and millions and millions of illegal aliens entered the United States. So now that ICE is allowed to do its job, which, it really couldn't do when Biden was in office, now President Trump is strengthening ICE and letting the ICE officers do what they're supposed to do. It's a very big challenge. I mean, how do you arrest and detain and deport millions of illegals? It is such a difficult job. It's not easy. And I've explained it before. Everything that, the amount of time and resources needed for one arrest. And how do you arrest and detain and deport all these illegal aliens? How do you go out and use the intelligence and the resources to catch the worst of the worst, especially after 4 years of border invasion that we saw during the Biden years? So ICE has a very difficult job. So there's an urgent need to arrest, hopefully thousands of illegal aliens every day. And then there's a need to overcome the political barriers. So the left and their strategy to slow down ICE, to slow down the Trump administration, those barriers will have to be addressed. ICE cannot slow down. President Trump cannot slow down. Okay, no matter how much the left tries, the Trump administration has to continue moving forward at full speed when it comes to immigration enforcement. And then I mentioned the long-term plan. What is the long-term plan? The long-term plan would be to keep ICE strong. The long-term plan would be for ICE to continue doing what it is doing, what it is supposed to do, and not slow down at any point. Okay? And this is an agency that we are going to need for years to come. Not just 2025 or 2026, but beyond 2027, 2028, and beyond. This is an agency that must be strengthened because the need is tremendous. Millions of illegal immigrants entered the United States just over a 4-year time period. I mean, there were many who had come to the US, over a period of many years. But we saw during the Biden administration, when the border was open, it was invasion complete. I mean, the numbers that we saw, the daily border crossings and the number of gotaways, and it was crazy. It's like nothing that anyone has ever seen before. It was the worst form of crisis, humanitarian crisis, border crisis, that we saw during the Biden administration. So ICE has to meet their daily goals of arresting illegals, but going forward into the future, this agency needs support, and this agency has to stay strong and continue to, get the resources that they need to do the job that they have to do. So that's the long-term plan. ICE has a lot of work to do, not just over the next few years, but even going beyond. Okay. Um, so uh, that's the urgent need. That's the long-term plan, and the need to overcome political barriers. Um, okay. So, my friends, share with me your thoughts. By the way, I did post, as you can see, a poll question. The question is, do you appreciate the work that the ICE agents are doing? The choices are yes and no. And so far, 75% of the respondents have said yes. Yes, they support the work that the ICE agents are doing. Okay. Overwhelming support for the ICE agents, overwhelming support for the agency as a whole. And uh, thank you so very much for responding. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up here, actually. I know it's quite late. It's 1:39 a.m. Here in Wisconsin. So I'm going to wrap this up. Um, and, I'll be back with more videos on and more live streams soon. So please stay connected to my channel. And let's see. Okay. All right, my friends. Thank you so very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If I missed greeting anyone, I apologize. If I missed answering your question, I apologize. It's not possible to keep up with each and every comment, each and every question, but I appreciate your participation. And uh, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I would appreciate that very, very much. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back again with more videos and more live streams. So thank you all. Thank you all, my friends. And have a wonderful night. Well, it's early morning. Have a wonderful morning. Have a great day. Okay. And I'm going to be back again very soon. And my friends, together, we will make America great again. So thank you, and stay well. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.